My name is George Donald Gaffney, and I would be George Wallace Gaffney III. But my father didn't want to associate my name with George Wallace, who was a segregationist governor of Alabama. And instead, he chose to name me after his father, George Gaffney Sr., and Donald Lawson, the father of my mother, Marilyn. He told me those were the two greatest men he knew, and he would talk about them often. Well, today I'd like to say a few words about the greatest man that I knew. We're here to honor him today. I live in New York City, where George is from. He left in 1987, rarely to return. He enjoyed his comfort, and he found it here in the South, near his roots, near his daughter and grandchildren, near Marilyn, the love of his life. A friend of mine once asked me for my father's email address to send him a message, and I gave it to him with a warning. I said, your inbox is going to turn into Pandora's box. He's going to write you back. He may write you every day. And are you prepared for this lifestyle change? My friend said, well, I don't even know him that well. Hit that send button and you will. You'll know his jokes. You'll know his stories. You'll know his prized philosophies. You'll know his family. You'll know his friends. And you'll know his compulsive drive to touch the lives of others. He was the axle of the wheel, you see. He was the great communicator, and we called him Chief. Chief was not made of muscle and bone. Chief was made of relationships. Human contact pumped through his veins. He was the 2 a.m. email. He was the homemade holiday greeting card, crafted with scissors, glue, and a copy machine. He was the movie review in the local paper, or on his blog, or sent through his email. Sometimes he would send me reviews of movies he didn't even see. You didn't see the movie? I didn't want to see it. How do you review a movie you didn't see? Right, send his grandchildren. Or I just wait outside the theater for people to come out and I ask them their opinion. What can I tell you? His brain was conditioned to the Socratic method. Oh, he would never just drop wisdom on you directly. He couldn't just tell you his philosophy outright. He had to set you up first, you know? He had to lay some mental bear trap for you to step into. Ask you a question, praying you would give the wrong answer, which to most people would be the right answer, but it's not. And when he sets you straight, don't make the further mistake of arguing back or risk being labeled simple or be told to just skip it. Sometimes he would make me nervous, like when I introduced him to a friend. Immediately, he would ask my friend a trick question. I was always scared that the friend would blow their one chance to show my father how clever they thought he was. And he was clever and full of wisdom and had a story or an anecdote for every conceivable circumstance in the known universe. And he was gifted with the great wit. A wit often drier than day-old toast, very sarcastic. Every time one of my wife's friends would pull her aside and ask about me, "Is he joking? I can't tell," I would have my father to thank for that. It rubbed off on me. You see, my father was quick with an insult, but when Chief cut you down, it meant he liked you or wanted to like you. And when Chief asked you a question, it was usually because he thought you didn't know the answer. But somehow he made it all work, didn't he? He didn't hug, he didn't kiss. He brought you close by giving you a little shove, a little dig, like only people close to you can really get away with. And he would regret the rare person that thought his shove was genuine aggression. He looks like a grizzly bear, and he talks like a grizzly bear. But inside, he's Yogi Bear. And to his grandchildren, he'll always be Papa Bear. George was a teacher for 35 years, 20 in New York and 15 in Charlotte. I used to marvel at how we would encounter his students in public when I used to walk with them around Charlotte. Both old students and current ones. They would smile and talk to him, shake his hand like he was their best friend. I had to wonder, what was going on in that classroom? It made me proud. He had a way of connecting, he had a style, he had a rhythm about him. He didn't always act like he cared, but you were certain that he did. And we loved him. I will be forever grateful to my sister, Valerie, who nudged me to spend time with Chief over the last month, as his health was in decline and he needed some more assistance from his family. I can tell you, his mind was sharp to the end. As many of you know, Chief lived on his own terms. Did you know, and I suppose many of you don't, that he only listened to one song and one song only while in his car? One song on a loop for years, over and over. That's got to tell you something. The song was Bob Seger's Like a Rock. I told him how crazy it seemed to replay that one song nonstop. But he told me how much he identified with the lyrics. This is what he told me in the last month. He wanted to convey that to me. And I went back and I listened to the song. It's a song about a man, an older man, reflecting on his younger days. I think Chief was a little vain about his strength and worried about it fading. The lyrics go, like a rock, I was strong as I can be. Like a rock, nothing ever got to me. Like a rock, I was something to see. Chief, you were something to see. And you'll never be forgotten.